My name is Christy Linneville, and I'm the Vice President of User Experience at GitLab. And this video is in advance of the June 25th, 2020 UX group conversation. I want to highlight some things that are in the deck so that you can think about them and ask deeper questions when we have a group conversation. So first, I want to welcome some new people to our team. Adam Smolinski has joined us as the Director of UX Research. Really excited to have him leading our research team. He comes from a background of both conducting and leading teams that conduct research at technology companies, and then also in fast, iterative, and actionable ways, which is how we like to work at GitLab. So really excited to have his experience and input in leading our research team. And then I also want to welcome Vitika and Austin as new designers on our team. I also want to point out that we've written a few blog articles over the past month that you might want to check out. In particular, you might want to look at how we created a dark UI for GitLab's Web IDE. And then if you work in our front end, you might want to check out the 13.0 contributor experience update. And as a reminder, every 2 weeks we have a UX showcase where designers share both designs and research, both work in progress and things that have been finished. Really good way to see what's happening in our product. Now I want to talk about our Q2 OKRs and give you an update on their progress. So one OKR focuses on improving the lovability of merge requests. This is really important because merge requests are a really critical area and high use area of our product, and we want to make them best in class. So you can see that we have many changes that both have already been implemented in the 13.1 milestone or in progress for the 13.2 milestone, and we're about 53% complete on this OKR. I want to point out on row 3 of this table, accept multiple merge request suggestions at once. This is a change that's already in the product, and it's one I'm particularly excited about. Merge requests often have many suggestions associated with them, and previously you had to go through and accept those one by one, but oftentimes you want to accept most, if not all, of the suggestions. So this new capability allows you to queue those up and commit them all at once with one pipeline. I also want to point out a change that's coming in 13.3. We've recognized that there is a problem. When you first submit a merge request, there's a message that displays on the screen for a few seconds, but there are a few confusing seconds that makes it look as though something has failed with your merge request. And then it resolves itself, but that's friction for our users, and it's a confusing amount of time that they have to sit there and think, did I do something wrong? So that's something that we're also going to be fixing, not for this OKR, we just couldn't quite make it in for that, but we'll be fixing in 13.3. And then we're also working to improve the lovability of issues, again, another critical area of our product. So we already shipped one change, which is sticky issue titles. Oftentimes when we're working with issues, we're coming from a to-do or from an email notification in response to a comment, which it drops you into the comments section of an issue, and you lose context for what is this issue. With a sticky issue title, if you are below the top of the issue description, the issue title still displays the title and the status. And then we have more changes coming. There are some things we learned in research about other elements that users would like to see, and those will be coming in the future. And then you can see we have a few more changes queued up for 13.2. Our tech writing team has a shared OKR with our support department to help drive down support calls by making our highest traffic and high support link documentation pages accurate, informational, and easy to read. This is important not just for GitLab, but for our users. It's better for us to have fewer support calls, but also users don't want to call support. They prefer to self-serve if they can, and the intention of this OKR is to make it easier for them to do that. We've committed to updating 30 docs pages as part of this OKR, and again, they are our most highly used docs pages by the support team. 14 of those improvements have already been merged. We're also going to surface those articles on the popular documentation section of our docs homepage. Not all 30, but probably the top 10. Again, making it easier for people to find the documentation that they want and need. And then we're also working on a project to help self-managed users to scale better with reference architectures. Previously, we didn't have reference architectures, and now we'll have reference architectures that start as small as 2,000 and go up to 50,000. Now I want to talk about some interesting things that are happening in our UX Foundations team. We migrated from Sketch to Figma, which we've talked about in the past. We also know that our team is not the only team that's going to work with Figma. So if you're new to Figma, you want to learn more about how we're using Figma at GitLab, we've got documentation available for you. Also, we now have a Pajamas UI Kit Slack update bot. So it updates in Slack, in the Design System Slack channel, every time that there is a change to the shared asset library for the UI kit. A really exciting thing is the alpha release of dark mode. This has been one of the most highly requested issues at GitLab. People have really been looking forward to this. This is an alpha release. It's not even beta. We know that there are bugs, but it's something that we're really excited about. And we went ahead and released it early so that both users inside GitLab, and then also members of our wider GitLab community can help us find those bugs so we can begin to resolve them. And this is a fun one. We now have a GitLab Ipsum, Lorem Ipsum text generator. So if you're tired of using weird Lorem Ipsum in your wireframes, either the standard Lorem Ipsum or Bacon Ipsum or whatever you might have been using, now you have a GitLab Ipsum that's based on content from our handbook, issuables, and docs. This is a really fun little side project from a couple of our members of our GitLab team. If you're interested, you should give it a try. And then some things to notice about docs. Our docs team just did a content audit, learned some really interesting things about the size of our documentation site, how frequently we are updating it, and the impact of our documentation site to users. This was the first step in us making hopefully some really nice changes to our documentation site. We also have UX research underway to help us learn more about what users want and need from our documentation site. But if you're interested, Craig Norris recorded a video and talks about some of the things we learned just from the data in the content audit. And then also, I think it's worth mentioning that we recently had an effort to remove some offensive terms from our documentation. So that includes changing blacklist and whitelist to deny list and allow list, and also removing some references to slave in the context of master slave. So that's what we've got in store for you for this group conversation. Remember, there are lots of interesting designs that you can also see. Take a look at those, and I will look forward to hearing your questions. Thank you so much.